intentions. There are many people asking why. There are many people paying attention. There are many now who see the big lie.
Yeah, are you paying attention? Do you see the big lie? Lies, plural.
And your praise fearless, ill-organized.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're situated on this great, big, beautiful blue globe floating through the void of Yah's creation. I'm Dave vonKleist. These are the WTF reports, and we're holding the legacy media feet to the fire because
you won't be trusted anymore.
all right, welcome to today's installment of the WTF reports. It is Wednesday, the 4th of June, 2025, and as I said, I'm, as always, holding the legacy media feet to the fire because they lie. They lie. Oh, that's all that they can do. That's all that they know. And unfortunately, they lie so much that they actually believe their own lies. It's unbelievable. And it's been going on for so long. Anyway, welcome to today's broadcast. Yesterday I had to take a day off. I don't know, I just was not feeling well. I just was exhausted. I don't know. I remember when I was a kid, kids used to come down with mononucleosis, and people get really tired. I don't know what hit me yesterday, but man, I could barely get up and, make a cup of coffee. But anyway, so for those of you who are emailing and saying, hey, are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. I'm good. Anyway, as I was saying, welcome to today's broadcast, and I want to remind you that we broadcast live from 2 p.m., 2 o'clock Eastern Time, and that's 11 o'clock a.m. Pacific Time. And, of course, there's time zones in between. That's 12 noon Mountain Time, and that's 1 p.m. Central Time. Now, if you're listening in those time slots, then this broadcast is live. But there are several rebroadcasts on the Red State Talk Radio Network. So if you're listening to a rebroadcast and you want to call in, you can't do it because I'm not on at that time. Okay, just want to make that clear. And if you do want to call in, write the phone number down. It is 215-867-8255. And this broadcast is brought to you in part by the Wave Watch. Now, I've been using this Wave Watch, and I got to tell you, I'm really surprised. When I first started using it, the first thing I did is I used it for a sleep program, and I got the best night's sleep. I slept for like 7.5, not 8 hours, but 7.5 hours, which just doesn't happen. And then I started using it for my eyes because as I've been getting older, I have to use these reading glasses. And after running the program for eye health, after about 3 weeks, I could start to read the newspaper, and I'm enjoying that. But anyway, I'm not saying that this is going to treat or cure anything, but you owe it to yourself to check into the Wave Watch. This thing is remarkable. It is Rife technology that you wear on your wrist, and I'm finding that it's helping. So maybe you will too. Anyway, if you visit our website, go to TheWTFReports.com and click on the sponsors button there, and it'll take you down to a button where you can find out about the Wave Watch. And if you decide that you want to get one, you'll get $100 off if you use the promo code RedPill100. All right, that said, oh man, there's so much stuff to get to today. There's two major issues that I want to discuss. And first off is having to do with the hokey pokey thingy dingy. Yeah, that's back in the news. It's all over the world that people are realizing that this is not a good thing. It is not a good thing. As a matter of fact, there was let me see if I can pull this up here. Dr. Ryan Cole was addressing the European Union. And you definitely want to hear what this guy has to say about the spike proteins. Now, the spike proteins, I've been covering this for the past couple weeks. What was it? Dr. Ern Burkhardt, a year or two ago, was doing some research into male reproductive organs and how the spike proteins have invaded the testes of males who got the hokey pokey thingy dingy. And the spike proteins have replaced the spermatozoa. And his voice was breaking at the end of his presentation. He was showing on slides that, that the sperm is gone. Spike proteins have taken place. And he said, if I was a young woman considering motherhood, I would definitely not want to do it with a man who got the hokey pokey thingy dingy. And his voice was breaking. And then Dr. Naomi Wolf was doing a similar study on the effect of spike proteins on the female reproductive system. And my gosh, the same thing is happening. It's destroying the woman's ability to produce eggs. And it's also upsetting the menstrual cycle. And I mean, if there is a plan for population reduction, what better way than to sterilize both males and females who get the hokey pokey thingy dingy? Anyway, Dr. Ryan Cole had this to say about it. Let's see if I can cue this up without screwing it up. Here it is.
The reason you haven't heard most of the things that you've heard today is because the media is in collusion with whatever the powers that be in preventing you from getting that information.
Okay, I'll stop it right there. The media is involved in covering up the information. Why, do you suppose? Well, look at the advertising that supports all the mainstream networks. Over 50% is all big pharma. Enough said.
All right, next question then. Let's talk about the monster in the room, spike protein and cancer mechanism potentials. How many people in this room, after the rollout of the injections, have a friend, a colleague, a patient who had an unexpected cancer, a very aggressive cancer? Please, show of hands. Wow. Let the record show, for those who can't see the room, that that's more than half of the room. The cancer rates are off the charts and growing, and it's really unfortunate. Insurance data sets out of Germany show a marked increase in unexpected cancers as well. Colleague Dr. DeGlige, oncologist in the UK, met with him a couple months ago. He's seeing astounding numbers of very aggressive cancers in his population. Now, this is somebody who's been doing oncology for 40 years. So when you see something, you say something. He has spoken out. It's time to stop these shots. One cannot find that for which they do not look. The cells don't lie. As you saw from my colleagues, the spike protein is present throughout all tissues of the body. That is not meant to be. Human cells are meant to make human proteins, not to make toxins. So to inject a gene-based product into the body and make your cells the factory for a toxin is psychologically insane.
Yeah, that is insane. And if he's right, guess what, folks?
We're in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, we're in a lot of trouble is right. And it's not just the spike proteins, folks. It's also the lipid particles. It's also the graphene oxide. It's also the nanotech that a lot of people are starting to discover when they take blood samples and they put it under a microscope, and you can see these self-assembling, I don't know what to call them. It's nanotechnology, and these little cubes that appear to have circuits in them. This is forming in the blood of people who got the hokey pokey thingy dingy. This is crazy. And as a matter of fact, Catherine Austin Fitz, bless her heart, she has been screaming from the rooftops about some of this stuff. And she had this to say. Wait till you hear about this. You want to talk about an operating system? Yeah, with the graphene oxide and the nanotech and all this stuff. This is bizarre. It's connecting to the internet. Listen to what she had to say.
Worked for several years with a group of doctors and scientists trying to understand what was happening with the injections. Mm-hmm. And I absolutely believe that they were trying to install operating systems in people's bodies.
Operating systems?
Yeah. So
this just got dark.
No, if you listen, there's a great clip from right at the beginning of the pandemic when the chief scientist officer at Moderna says we're installing an operating system in people's bodies. And he, he's describing something that can be used plug and play for future vaccines. But if you look at all the material on the Internet of Bodies, you're talking about putting materials in people's bodies that make them basically easier to interact with telecommunications and digital technology.
Oh, you're talking about like the 5G stuff and like how 5G can connect to this stuff.
5G
nanobots. There's a whole. I've done a podcast on this before. It's so bizarre and out there and like hard to grasp, but like
it's not hard to grasp at all because
it just seems like sci-fi.
No, it's not sci-fi at all. It's not, just like they're tagging livestock. I mean, one of the things that really helps you to understand what this looks like, I live in a farming community in the United States, and if you know about if you've ever studied livestock management,
no, never.
A lot of this makes a lot more sense.
Okay.
And they are tagging all the livestock, but this is simply a way of, if you get a lot of these nanoparticles into the human body, you're creating the equivalent of an organic barcode. Okay.
But was there? I don't think there was actually any hard evidence that there was any nanoparticles.
So I strongly recommend you. We just published. Patrick Wood at Technocracy News. I was the moderator. We just published the second symposium called Omnivore, and this one is called The Battle for the Brain, and it gets into the Internet of Bodies. And here's what I believe, and I'm not a scientist, so don't ask me to explain this at all, but if you look at all the patents and research and other work done on the Internet of Bodies, it is clear that there are mysterious ingredients in the food. There are mysterious ingredients in the spray. There are mysterious ingredients in the injections. And the question is, what are those for? And I think it's very intentional. I don't think it's an accident. And I think one of the goals is, as the chief scientist officer at Moderna said, is to install an operating system in your body.
That's pretty dark.
Yes, it's very dark.
Yeah, it is very dark. And you may have heard her say there was nanotechnology, and it's being delivered in a host of different ways. One way is being sprayed. Yeah. Is it in the chemtrails? It's funny. I sang about this, 20 years ago.
Are nanomicrobes in your town? Are they affecting you? Yes, it's another day. It's a cloudless sky, but it only lasts until the planes fly by.
Yeah, are nanomicrobes in your town? Are they affecting you? Yeah, there's a lot of us that... And I got to tell you, there was a high-ranking intelligence officer who was giving a presentation, and I don't know what his name was. Somebody got this, videotaped it, and posted it on the internet. And he had a very interesting statement in regard to this nanotechnology and 5G. Okay? Now, I want to preface this by saying that over the past year, I've seen multiple posts on social media from cell phone techies who have opened up the phones and looked at it and say, wait a second, there's nothing in this cell phone that's designed to receive a 5G signal. Now, they've been selling 5G. Of course, you got Spectrum, and you got Verizon, and you got, all the other cell phone companies that are out there, and they're pushing 5G. Yeah, you're going to get faster downloads, and you're going to get faster speeds. But you know what? How can you possibly get a benefit from 5G if there's nothing in your cell phone to pick up that signal? So why are they at breakneck speed putting up these towers, these 5G towers, all over the country? What is going on here? Well, you see, there's this officer that basically made this statement. Here it is.
It was revealed the plan of what's going to happen next. So I can't say it, but I'm telling you, I know what's going to happen next. How much metal you have in your body will affect you when this thing happens. It has to do with frequency. Okay, so that I stay safe and I can come back and I stay alive, I want to tell you something.
I stay alive, yeah.
I will give you a hint to what he showed me. It's going to happen, and you have to get rid of these metals in your body. And it could happen tomorrow. It could happen, but they're going to say it's something else. You're going to have to do your own thinking about this. I don't want to get in trouble, but just stick a piece of foil in a microwave, and picture that in your body.
Silence. Wow.
And now you know the devil's plan. Bottom line is, you got to get this out of your body. Let's mess the devil up.
Yeah,
let's really mess him up.
Yeah, let's mess the devil up. He's right. He's right. So, put the puzzle pieces together. Connect the dots. If they are introducing aluminum and heavy metals via the hokey pokey thingy dingy, or via the aerosol spraying, or via the injections that they're putting into our livestock, the food that you're eating. And let's say you've got these heavy metals in your body, and all of a sudden they decide to flip the switch and turn on these towers. What do you suppose is going to happen? Anyway, you heard Catherine Austin Fitts mention the Internet of Bodies. Well, CNBC did a little a presentation about this, and I want to share some of it with you. I can't play the whole thing, but this is sort of like an introduction to the Internet of Bodies. Let's hear what they have to say.
Term Internet of Things, where inanimate objects can be connected to the Internet and each other. But in 2016, academic and author Dr. Andrea Matwishin took it one step further, coining the term Internet of Bodies, or IOB. She describes it as a network of human bodies whose integrity and functionality rely, at least in part, on the internet and related technologies such as artificial intelligence. That might sound far-fetched, but if you have one of these, you're already part of the IOB world.
Okay, he said if you have one of these, and he was holding up a smartwatch. How many of you people out there have a smartwatch to monitor your heart rate, and your respirations and all that stuff? Or maybe it's one of those rings. They have internet rings now. It looks like a wedding band, and it connects to your cell phone, which connects to the internet. All of your data, all of your physical health rate, all of that stuff is going online. And there are people who are monitoring that stuff. So anyway, I'm going to let this continue. Okay.
3 categories of IOB based on the device's level of integration. The first generation is external, things like smartwatches or rings, which use sensors to track our steps and heart rate, or smart glasses, which function as cameras, headphones, and monitors. The second generation is internal. These are devices you ingest or have implanted. Think of pacemakers with digital implants, smart prosthetics hardwired into patients' nerves and muscles, or even digital pills that transmit medical data after being ingested. Finally, there's the third generation. These devices completely merge with the body while maintaining a real-time connection to an external machine and the internet.
Wow.
One of the most notable companies in this space is Elon Musk's Neuralink, which is developing a brain-computer interface, or BCI, called The Link. The coin-sized chip is implanted under the skull, where it can read a person's brain signals and allow them to control an external machine.
I had to use like a mouse stick and stuff, but now it's all being done with my brain.
Neuralink's first test subject, who was paralyzed from the shoulders down, used the device to play chess on his laptop, although a few weeks later, Neuralink reported some malfunctioning. Proponents of IOB devices say the benefits are clear. They'll improve body cognition and function, improve healthcare, and allow for significant cost savings for people and corporations. But where some see benefits, others see risks. Even the original article coining the term warned of the technology's flaws. For one, data protection will be paramount. Many of these devices will be able to track, record, and store personal information. Critics argue that if governments and companies got their hands on this data, they could use it to spy on citizens or turn them into revenue streams.
Wow, you hear
There are
that?
also concerns around dependency, addiction, and personal safety. Former US Vice President Dick Cheney, for example, admitted that he had his heart implant's wireless function disabled in 2007 over fears that assassins could use it to cause a fatal heart attack.
Okay, I'll pause it right there. Whoa. What did he say? He said Dick Cheney had his deactivated because somebody could hack into there and cause a heart attack. Think about that, folks. If you're going to have some sort of operating system, as Catherine Austin Fitts was discussing, and maybe it's not even a single chip. Maybe it's thousands or maybe hundreds of thousands of little technological bots floating through your bloodstream. We've heard about smart dust. Yeah, smart dust. Look it up. Do some research. Smart dust. They can dump it out of planes and it floats in the atmosphere and you inhale it. Or maybe it's in your food. We don't know. We do know that they're now injecting mRNA technology into cattle and to livestock, into the pigs, into the chickens. And we also know, according to our wonderful philanthropist Bill Gates, that they're putting mRNA technology into the vegetables, your spinach, your lettuce, your tomato, and God knows what other veggies that are out there. It's like you can't escape it. It's everywhere. So I would highly recommend that you take the advice of the gentleman who was saying you've got to remove the heavy metals from your body. This is heavy-duty stuff, folks. We are living in a sci-fi nightmare right now. I hate to say this, but folks, you got to take notes. You got to start doing some research. Yeah, I know it's hard to tear yourself away from the NBA Finals. Yeah, I know. There's treason here, treason there, treason everywhere, to the front and to the back. Will we ever get our country back? Anyway, I want to share with you. I'm here with the receipts, folks. It's not me saying it. Of course, I'm trying to connect the dots, and hopefully you're trying to do the same. But there's more than ample information here to have us all, stand up and scream, WTF! Their number one goal, the globalist goal, is to reduce the population. Now, I don't care if you believe it. It doesn't make any difference what you believe. It doesn't make any difference what I believe. What makes a difference is what they believe. And if you do some research, you'll find out that across the board, the main globalist goal is to drastically reduce the human population. And they're prepared for it. They got plan A, plan B. They got their bunkers already. I mean, we're not just talking about underground, facilities, like Zuckerberg is in Hawaii, and he's made a great big, I think it's like a 2,500 or 3,000 foot bunker on Hawaii. Why would you do that?
Well, everybody else is doing it.
Yeah, you're right. There are huge cities underground. And I know some folks that don't believe that there's deep underground military bases, and they don't believe that there are tunnel systems and high-speed rail systems. If you don't believe it, okay, that's just fine. I've known about this for like 25, 30 years. As a matter of fact, when I was with Joyce, and we were the American Gulf War Veterans Association, and we were traveling all over the country back in the 90s trying to help all the vets from the first Gulf War because they were exposed to chemicals, biologicals, experimental vaccines, and pills like britostignine bromide. And we had, military people handing us some very interesting documents in plain manila envelopes. And I remember seeing one document that had a map of the high-speed rail systems all over the country that are underground. Yeah, they connect New York and Washington and Denver and LA. I mean, all over the place. So you can say that it's not real. Oh, that's a conspiracy theory. If that's what you think, raise your hand and slap yourself with it. Okay, I got one more clip here, and this one you might want to take notes because a guy named Jerry Day, if you don't want to get a hokey pokey thingy dingy, or if you don't want them to do some sort of a system or a procedure, that's the word I'm looking for. If you get admitted to a hospital or if you're talking to a doctor and you don't want any type of operating system put into your body, you need to take notes on this particular audio clip. And again, this is not me saying it, folks. That's why I'm here with the audio receipts. Okay? And by the way, you might want to write this website down. It is pandemic.solari.com. And anyway, he's going to refer to that in this clip. Listen up, take notes.
Are you a student and your school or college is telling you that you must have a vaccination? Are you an employee and your employer is telling you that you must have a vaccination? No one, not even the government, has the authority to force or coerce vaccinations. Many companies and institutions have become zealots in promoting COVID-19 injections due to corruption, self-interest, or ignorance about the injuries and deaths from adverse reactions to the experimental injections. Mass censorship and false information about the effectiveness of those injections has created serious misunderstandings about these unapproved, experimental, and hazardous medical treatments. The fact is, COVID-19 injections are not even vaccines by definition. And while each manufacturer has different issues with their injections, None of them have been shown to be safe or effective, and none of them have been approved by the FDA for non-emergency use. On a daily basis, there is mounting evidence of very strange injuries, deaths, and adverse reactions from the experimental COVID-19 injections. You should never allow any institution, doctor, or friend to pressure you into taking experimental or unproven medications. I'm going to show you how to take control of that and protect yourself and your family. Solari has some very powerful documents online for you to copy, edit, and present to any school, college, or employer where you are being pressured to take the experimental COVID-19 injections, which they are calling vaccines. These documents make it impossible for any institutional officer to claim ignorance of COVID-19 injection risks. They require that the institution's officers take full personal liability for any injuries, deaths, and losses caused by the experimental treatment. They require that they acknowledge the possible adverse reactions and negative consequences of the treatment. They require that the institution's officers acknowledge the specific laws and codes that prohibit coerced experimental medical treatments. Those laws and codes are included in those documents, and the documents are free. Catherine Austin Fitz, who publishes the Solari report and website, has put together these very powerful documents in a spirit of public service, because there are so many people and institutions now which are violating the law and our rights by trying to control the medicines and treatments we take. These are documents which you present to anyone who is trying to coerce you into taking medical treatments. Here's how to navigate to these forms. Go to pandemic.solari.com. In the blue navigation bar, hover over Employer and School Forms. Select either the employer or the school form link. Even if you believe that you should take the COVID-19 injections, you need to present these forms to protect you in the case of any adverse reaction or negative consequences. These forms represent your requirement that they understand they cannot force vaccinations, they must inform you of the risks, and they must take full responsibility for any damages they cause. Simply put your name and address on the form, print it out, and present it to your school, college, or employer. It is best to send them by certified mail so you have proof of delivery. The forms require response by your school or employer. If they don't respond, your mail receipts are proof that they were noticed. Once any institutional officer receives this document, it is hard to imagine they would dare to coerce medical treatment upon you. The document informs them of the possible consequences they face if they attempt to coerce medical treatment on you. Remember, these are templates, so you remove any instructions and format it like a letter. Add your name and address and the name and address of the recipient, whoever's coercing the COVID-19 injections, and then add the date, a salutation, and sign it at the bottom. Then send it by U.S. certified mail. Keep copies and mail receipts as record of the delivery. If you deliver by hand, you won't have proof of delivery. You do want that proof because this document may change the legal status of you and the recipient to give you the advantage in the relationship. Without proof of delivery, they can claim they never saw it. Your health and health care should never be controlled by anyone but you. These documents are how you get that control.
That's right. Okay, and I also, so hopefully you took notes on that because that's important. And again, the website to go to is pandemic.solari.com and look for the school or employer forms. Print out a copy, tailor it to your own personal information, and make sure you have that. Now, I saw another post over the weekend. It was a nurse, and she was saying, hey, look, guys, if you're in the unfortunate situation where you have to be admitted to a hospital and they're going to have you sign a form, you need to have them print that out, get a hard copy, and then sit your butt down, read the whole doggone thing. The reason being is that now, if you're going in to a hospital for some sort of a treatment, they can now inject you with, put your hokey pokey thingy dingy, and they can give you an injection without your knowledge or consent. I mean, if you're under anesthesia, they can just shoot you right up with anything that they want. You want to make sure that your butt is covered. So if you're going to be admitted to a hospital, make sure you print that out. Okay, read it carefully, and when it comes to this section where they mention that they can put a hokey pokey thingy dingy in you, make sure you circle it and you write, I do not consent. Okay? And then you have them make a copy of that. So you have a copy, they have a copy, and that way you're going to keep yourself covered. I mean, these are nefarious, evil people that are doing this. Again, this is their main goal, is to reduce the population drastically by any and all means necessary. And I wish I had some good news for you folks, but that's where we're at right now. We're living in a sci-fi world. Anyway, that said, a quick pause for the cause.
Get More Tank will save you money every month on gas. Get More Tank is a tablet with active ingredients that adds big mileage to every tank. Made in America, the Get More Tank formula is used by trucking companies and heavy industry. Now, the Get More Tank formula is available to you. Get More Tank works in any gas or diesel engine, cleans your engine, lowers emissions, and you'll feel improved engine performance every time you step on the gas. Get More Tank works for cars, trucks, boats, motorcycles, four-wheelers, mowers, and blowers. Hey, if you've got an engine, then Get More Tank. Contractors, electricians, plumbers, painters, and lawn service companies, Get More Tank will save you money and extend the life of your engines. If you're an owner-operator running your big rig around the town or across the country, Get More Tank will save you money too. If you're a farmer, all of your equipment can use Get More Tank. A 5-pack on sale at GetMoreTank.com for just $22.22 plus shipping. Use the promo code REDPILL101 and get 10% off. Save your money, save your engine, save the earth at GetMoreTank.com. Get More Tank is EPA registered, doesn't void warranties, results vary.
And you can get More Tank by, once again, visiting our website, The WTF Reports. And don't forget the word the, T-H-E. People seem to say, I can't find it. No, put the word the, T-H-E, The WTFReports.com. Visit the sponsors page, and you can go down and click on the Get More Tank website. You'll have all the technical data that you need to see how that's going to work on your vehicle. And again, if you start using Get More Tank, you're going to notice in a very short period of time that your car runs, or your vehicle runs, a whole lot better. When you hit the gas, it goes, and it runs cleaner. And after a couple of tanks, you're going to start noticing that your mileage is improving. And if you're going to get between 15 and 20% better mileage, I mean, do the math. With the promo code REDPILL101, you'll get 5 tablets for $20. And each tablet is for a tank of gas. Now, by the time you get to the 5th tank, you're gonna notice that you're getting like 20% better mileage, which means that tank of gas is free. How much is a tank of gas? And how much is the Get More Tank? It's a no-brainer, folks. It's a win-win situation. Go to our website, TheWTFReports.com, click on the sponsors page, and Get More Tank. And while you're there, you might want to check out the cool new merch we got. We're going to need some support. Make a donation. Keep us going. Keep the lights on. We got baseball caps, T-shirts, coffee mugs, and a brand new T-shirt with 3 magic words.
Bribery, coercion, blackmail.
Yeah, that's what makes this country run, folks, whether you believe it or not. As a matter of fact, General Flynn made the following statement. If you don't believe me, listen to General Flynn. Here he is.
We have the House of Representatives right now is totally, completely broken. And they're totally owned by the corporate lobbyists and, frankly, by the globalists who own many of these people because they've been compromised by some of these what they call Codell trips overseas, where these members of both the House and the Senate get compromised by sleeping with children. And they compromise. And these are real things. These are very real things. They get them caught up in the world of big bucks.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because the mainstream media just doesn't expound on any of this. Remember Exium? Remember Harvey Weinstein? Remember Jeffrey Epstein? Remember Anthony Weiner? Remember P. Diddy? I mean, all of this stuff is out there, but the mainstream media is not doing anything about it because they're probably compromised as well. This whole child sex trafficking thing is an absolute, you want to talk about a pandemic? It's all over the place. And it's not just in the federal level. It's also in the state level. It's in the county level. It's in the city level. It's in the town level. It's everywhere, folks. It is a cancer to humanity, and it has to be routed out. And that's why we got the brand new T-shirt. Hey, go to our website and order one.
Bribery, coercion, blackmail.
Yeah, that's what makes this world go round. And I'm sad to say, but that's the world we're living in right now. So, again, visit our website, pick up some merch, and help support the cause here. Because we're trying to expand. We want to turn this into a podcast. Right now, it's an audio broadcast on the Red State Talk Radio Network, which is great. I'm glad to be here. But we also have to set up some platforms, pay a bunch of money, get some technical stuff, some hardware, to turn this into a podcast. And for that, we do have a GoFundMe page at our website. So if you want to contribute to the cause and help this program expand, and that way, these audio receipts will also be video receipts. You'll be able to see them with your own eyeballs. And I'll be able to show the documents so you can read them your own self. So, anyway, so we're trying to grow the broadcast here. And help to save this country and indeed the world. I hate to say it that way, but that's basically what we're doing. Anyway, let me see a couple of, okay. I'm going to change gears a little bit. We heard over the weekend that there was a drone attack in Russia, and about $40 billion worth of airplanes were destroyed by drones. And they were supposedly, released by Ukraine. Now, there's a lot of scuttlebutt going on, a lot of mystery here, because Trump says he had no idea that this was going on. But let's look at the chronological events that led up to this, okay? Now, we know that Lindsey Graham and Richard Blumenthal went to Ukraine last weekend, okay? They went over there, and by the way, they spent over $800,000 in expenses. Think about that. How much does it cost to hop on a plane and go overseas? Sure as heck isn't the two guys, it's sure as heck not $400,000 for an airplane ticket, and it sure as heck isn't going to be that much money for a hotel room. So over $800,000 for these two yahoos to go over there and have a conversation with Zelensky. Okay, so they go over there, and by the way, they're in no position to be negotiating with Zelensky. Isn't this a violation of the Logan Act? I think it is. We all know where Lindsey Graham's coming from. He's a rhino big time. He's a warmonger. These guys, they lust for war. They really do. I mean, this is their hot button. It really is. But anyway, so they go over there and they have a little conversation with Zelensky, and then they come back, and the next day there's this drone attack. Okay, now this is really pushing for World War III, and we all know that the military-industrial complex doesn't make money unless there's war. And there's also the situation, when you look at history, whenever a country is facing an economic collapse, the solution is always go to war. The difference is that we have a global economy now, and the global economy is on the precipice of total collapse. And the powers that be know this. So, if history shows you that a country's solution to an economic collapse is to go to war, common sense would tell me, with my limited intellectual capacities, that a global economic collapse solution would be to have a global war. Now, people are talking about World War III. I'm thinking about a GW3, and I ain't talking about GW, George Bush Jr. I'm not talking about GW. I'm talking about a global war, and that's their solution. So, okay, so we got these two guys that go over to the Ukraine, and then they come back to the tune of over $800,000 out of your taxpayer pocket. Okay, and then the next day, there's this drone attack. Okay, now there's a lot of questions. Say, wait a second, if Trump didn't know about it, was this a NATO effort? Who did this? Who gave the authorization? Where did those drones come from? Okay, now, I just wanted to preface this. for the clip that you're about to hear. Now, I don't know if this is confirmed or not. I'm going to share this with you, and I've tried to find more information. I did some searching on the internet, but I could not find anything. I would ask the listeners out there, in the limited time that we've got left in this broadcast, about 15 minutes, okay, if you know anything about this, I'm going to play this clip, and I invite you to call in 215-867-8255. Now, here's the other a dot to connect. There was an ICE raid at Jerry Nadler's office in Washington, D.C. All right, now what was this ICE raid all about? Was it just to get illegal immigrants? Okay, hold on. Okay, I don't know who that is. Caller, you're on the air, but hold on for a second, for a couple minutes. I want to play this clip. All right, now listen. Okay, hold on, caller. All right, I'll tell you what. Before I play the clip, who do we have, and where are you calling from?
Hey, this is Melissa in Maryland, and I don't mind holding.
Okay, I've got to play this clip. I don't think you'll hear it, but listen on your device, and you'll hear what the clip is all about. Now, this is posted by, let me see, this was posted by Gene Robinson. I believe that's his name. All right. Anyway, I'm going to play this clip. Folks, give a listen to this, and you put the puzzle pieces together. Connect the dots. Here it is.
Well, the media fed you distractions. Taylor Swift, trans parades, TikTok diplomacy. President Trump's DHS conducted a classified raid on the Democrat representative Jerry Nadler's office. What did they find? What they found shocked the agents. We're talking about military-grade encrypted drone hardware, remote global trigger modules linked to strike systems that can bypass NATO's defense shields. Secure digital schematics used in Ukraine's deep drone strikes against those 40 Russian planes that you saw on the Russian airbase that were destroyed. And confidential access keys tied to a Shadow Ops network that spanned outside of the U.S. command. So let me say this louder for the people in the back. A sitting U.S. congressman was sitting on global war tech stored like it's paper stationery, whatever. This is crazy. Paper clips, erasers. This isn't misplaced paperwork. This isn't mishandled intel. This is possession of an active warfare system by an unauthorized civilian authority. And guess what? DHS agents also found, well, they found hard drives, payment ledgers, routine logs, proof that this wasn't a one-off incident. It's actually something that's been happening. It was a pipeline, a military to foreign handoff, a war machine operated from within the Democrat Party itself. The drone systems, coded for international activation, linked through VPN and encryption layers, sitting just miles from the Capitol dome, right under your nose. That's not incompetence. That's not partisanship. That's treason with a desk job. Now you understand why they had to try to take Trump down. Now you see, he wasn't just talking about draining the swamp. He was cracking into their weapons cache. So here's the firebomb truth. A U.S. congressman had the keys to untraceable drone hardware, tech designed to kill without fingerprints, folks. Did you hear me? And he wasn't guarding it. He was guarding the secret that it was in fact there. If DHS hadn't moved, we would never know. But now we do. Every American with a shred of patriotism should be asking, who else has this tech? How deep does this treason run? Who had privy to this knowledge? And what was the mission that Nadler was helping arm from behind the Iron Curtain of the United States? Because this isn't Watergate. This isn't even Iran-Contra scandal level stuff. This is Congress running a back-channel war room with hardware meant for U.S. enemies, folks. And if they were willing to sell out drone triggers, you'd better believe you were already sold out. Fire them, jail them, strip them from office, because America was never meant to be governed by foreign agents in disguise.
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? So if any of you out there have got any confirmation on this, because I was searching for it before the show and I could not find it, but it seems to make sense. Okay, thank you for your patience, caller. Again, who do we have there? And I know you're in Maryland. Go ahead.
Melissa in Maryland, and you might be able to answer this. Where can you tell us to go for that would be sources for nanotechnology?
I tell you what, can you get a little closer to your phone, because you're kind of hard to hear. What was your question again?
Just a moment. I know what's going on. All right, I don't know if that's going to work or not.
Oh, that's
anyway.
so much better. So much better. I can hear you clearly now. Yeah. Okay. What was your question? Go ahead.
Okay. What I'm trying to find out about nanotechnology and what kind of nanotechnology exists and what it's capable of. So, what are your sources for that?
Oh my gosh, there's so much. It's been out there. I mean, just do a search. Just do a search on nanotechnology, smart dust. There's just so much out there. We've been talking about this for 20 years. Yeah, and there's I think it was Dr. Carrie Madej. She and others have been looking at blood samples of people who got the hokey pokey thingy dingy, and they're finding that there is indeed nanotechnology, these little square cellular things that are self-replicating. I mean, it's all over the place. So, I would just suggest that you do a search. And if I can find a couple of those audio clips, I can't do it right now. Obviously, I'm on the air. But I'll see if I can't go back and share them with you on tomorrow's show. If not, I can at least give you some references.
You don't have a single source or sources for nanotechnology and what it's capable of?
Not at my fingertips right now. I mean, if I'd known your question ahead of time, I surely would have prepared something for you. But like I said, do your own search. Don't believe me. That's why I keep telling everybody, don't believe me. Don't believe anything that I say. You've got to do your own research. I'm just here to be able to plant the seeds. It's up to you to tend the garden.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay. I'm sorry. I've got enough on my plate here keeping these audio clips together and trying to do the show live because I don't have a producer here. I say, excuse me, play clip number 17. I don't have somebody else doing that. I'm here all by my lonesome, just me and my kitty. Anyway, what's going on here is it's just craziness. It really is. And I don't know what the solution is, but I do know for sure that it's up to us. I mean, this is a government of, by, and for the people. And sadly, most of the American people are just not paying attention. They're just not. So I don't know what the solution is. But I will tell you that if we don't get off of our collective butts and get involved, and, we may have to break out the pitchforks and torches and storm the castle. But, we have to deal with the very simple fact that these people are madmen and women. And they are, indeed, pushing for World War III. And I had a song about that, too. It's called Addicted to War.
Counting up the casualties like you're keeping score. Yes, you're a cancer to your country. You're addicted to war. You're a death merchant junkie. You're addicted to war. And the whole world recognizes you're addicted to war. You're a cancer to your country. You're addicted to war. Yes, you're gonna have to face it. You're addicted to war. Yes, the whole world recognizes you're addicted to war. You're a death.
Yeah, the whole world recognizes it too. That's absolutely true. And it's undeniable at this point. The military-industrial complex combined with Big Pharma, the two of them are running the show in this country. There's no doubt about it. I mean, just look at where all the money comes from. And that, ties into AIPAC as well. okay? And if you look into AIPAC and the influence AIPAC has on not just our elected officials, no, the Israeli, the American-Israeli Political Public Affairs Committee, that's what it is. I keep saying political action. No, it's the American-Israeli Public Affairs Commission. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it as political, no. But they are funding, both sides of the political aisle, Republicans, Demopublicans. You look at how much Richard Blumenthal got from AIPAC. It's over $1 million. And you can go to AIPAC Tracker and check this stuff out. But I mean, yeah, when you look at how much influence that Israel has, not just in our government, but look at the media. Look at how much Israel is represented by very powerful people in all of the networks. And look at how much influence they have in big pharma. Look at the connections between the CDC and the FDA. I mean, we have been taken over, ladies and gentlemen. We have been taken over. Now, I want to be clear. I am not an anti-Semite. I'm not hating on Jews. As a matter of fact, that whole term is bass-backwards as well. Again, I keep on referring to this. The Jerusalem Post posted an article. Let me see if I can pull it up here. And it was in March of last year. May 18th of 2024 from the Jerusalem Post. Israeli Jews have no genetic connection to ancient Hebrews. That was published in the Jerusalem Post. Again, the ancestry study that was conducted by the Johns Hopkins University found that 97.5% of Israelis have no Semitic blood. They are from Eastern Europe and North America. They did the same ancestry study on the Palestinians and found that 80% of them were indeed indigenous. They had ancient Hebrew ties. I mean, ancient ties to the land. So, it's the Palestinians who are the Semites. And it is the Israelis who are the anti-Semites. And yeah, I tell you, a lot of people are finding this out, and this is why I think you're starting to see across the board so much effort to stop anti-Semitism. I mean, the ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, I call them the Anti-Defecation League because they're full of crap. But anyway, the bottom line here is, there's a huge ramping up. They're passing laws. You're not allowed to boycott Israel. You're not allowed to criticize Israel. I mean, you can criticize the United States all day long, but God forbid you should say anything against Israel. Oh, you're going to be labeled as an anti-Semite and a Jew hater and blah, 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 blah. No. All these protesters out there, I'm not in line with the far left liberal, mush heads that are out there. But the bottom line here is that even a stop clock is right twice a day. And as far as those protests against, the genocide or the extermination of the innocent men, women, and children in Palestine, as a matter of fact, I heard that not once but twice, Hamas came forward and said, "Look, we'll stop all this. We'll give all the hostages back, and we'll disband. We'll stop if you'll just stop killing Palestinians." And you know what Netanyahu said? No, I don't want that. They want the land because there are hundreds of billions of dollars of natural gas and oil underneath Gaza. Not to mention that since 2000, they have had plans for the Ben Gurion Canal to go right through the Gaza Strip. They want to go into competition with the Suez Canal. So it's got something to do with money. Yeah. All right, that's going to wrap it up for today's Wednesday installment. Yeah, Wednesday hump day, don't you dare crump day. I'm Dave vonKleist. These are the WTF reports, and I humbly and respectfully request your support by going to our website, the WTF Reports. Do some business, buy some merch, and maybe even help us out with a GoFundMe donation. That said, we're flat out of time. I'll be back again tomorrow with more of the news they hope and pray you never hear. Until then, please stay safe and stay free. God bless you all, and we'll see you tomorrow.
You won't be trusted anymore.